Welcome to In24 Interviews. I'm Vicky A. Lee in the heart of it. I know it's been a while, but we are back with reinvigorated spirit. So I hope you are as excited as I am to welcome this extra special guest. Today we are going to be speaking with Alicia Serratos. She is a youth changemaker who is best known for distributing seed libraries to every single state in America. Now, at 14 years of age, Alicia continues to volunteer, educate, and affect change at a grassroots level. She is not only a passionate environmental activist, but also a decorated wrestler and Girl Scout cadet. Today, we are going to be speaking with Alicia about her seed libraries to learn more about that project and what new exciting initiatives she has next. Thank you very much for joining me today, Alicia.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. So let's get right into it. As you describe on your website, seed libraries are just like regular libraries, except that you check out seeds instead of books. So for those of us who aren't familiar with seed libraries, can you tell us what they are?
Yeah, so like on my website, they're like a regular library, and the process is basically you'll go to a seed library, you'll pick out the seeds you want, you will take them home, you'll plant them, and then once it starts growing, you will harvest the crops and leave some of it to go to seed. And once it's ready to be harvested, you'll harvest the seeds, and then you'll take them back to the seed library to share with others in the community.
That's amazing. So it's like a never-ending cycle. You won't run out of seeds because just like a library, you replenish the supply that you borrowed. That's wonderful. And you said it best. You've once said, if anything else was going extinct the way seeds are, people would be panicking. There's no food without seeds. That's a wonderful quote from you. Can you tell us more about this statement?
So there's so many seeds that have gone extinct, and it's like that certain animals are going extinct and people are panicking, and like it's coming to like everyone's like, oh, this animal's going extinct, like we got to do something about it. But no one really realizes that seeds are going extinct, and we don't have the energy we need for ourselves and the food we need for ourselves if we don't have seeds, because that's where life comes from.
Very, very well said. And we don't really think about it. We just see like an apple and we're like, okay, this is a delicious fruit we have. But how often do we really think about the origin of our food? So that said, what sparked your passion for seeds, especially at such a young age?
Well, ever since I was little, my mom taught me about healthy eating and where your food comes from. And I just thought it was so cool. Like, because you don't really think about it when you're young. You're like, oh, there's my salad on the table, like I'm just gonna eat it. Like you don't think, oh, where did this lettuce come from? Like that was really cool to me. Like you can make your own food, like, and just grow it in your backyard and just go harvest it every day. So that was really fascinating to me. So my mom took me to see Vandana Shiva speak, and David King happened there, and we got to talk with him, and he told me about his seed library, and instantly I knew that I wanted to set up a seed library at my school. And then it kind of just expanded from there, and I did it at a couple more schools, and then I got to my Three Sisters Seed Box project.
Amazing. So you founded your very first seed library in 2014 as part of your Girl Scout Bronze Award. What was that experience like, your very first seed library? How did it feel when you finished it?
It was a lot of hard work, and when I finished it, it was just so cool to see. It was like when you started painting, it's a lot of hard work, but when you see the finished result, it's like just beautiful. And that's like how I took it. It was like the coolest thing ever, because not everyone sees all the hard work you put in, and I was able to see all the hard work I put in. And so it was just so cool to be like, I put so much time to this, and this is what it became.
I love the painting metaphor. That's a very apt metaphor for that, because just like a painting, you don't really see the hard work behind that masterpiece, but you're the one who created it, and you know how much effort, how much passion you put towards that project. So that's amazing. Did you face any challenges with your very first seed library, and how did you overcome them?
My mom was there to help me the whole way, and So I couldn't have done it without her. But
Aw.
one of the challenges that we had was we were using like mason jars, and we just had to like collect them and like ask people, do you guys have any like old mason jars or just like glass jars that you're not using anymore? So that was one of the challenges, because mason jars get pretty expensive once like they start adding up. So
Right.
we were trying to reuse glass bottles and stuff, so you could see what seeds were in the bottles, but also so we could not like, instead of purchasing new stuff, just reuse what we had.
That's really clever. And not to mention that glass can be recycled many, many times over. So that's another good material choice. And last year, like you said, you founded the Three Sister Seed Box, and that was part of your Girl Scout Silver qualification. And it has blossomed into this national and even international movement. What made you decide to continue the seed library momentum and do that project again?
I knew I wanted to continue my work with seed libraries, and I wanted to put up so many more in a good amount of time, but it took me so long to do my other ones by myself. And me and my mom were like coming up with ideas like, how can I do this within a year or two and set up as many as I can? And then COVID hit, and we were like, how can we go to different schools and stuff to set up if we're all in quarantine? And so then we came up with the idea, like, why don't we just put all the materials that they need into a box and send it out, so it's like kind of like a DIY thing that you can like do yourself, and that's something that you're proud of, but also help like the movement of bringing more seed libraries alive. And so we ended up getting all the materials and setting up the boxes and shipped them out to at least one in every of the 50 states, and we got 100 of them out.
That's wonderful. And it was very insightful of you to take advantage of this DIY movement too, because we see during lockdown, people are like baking, people are doing hands-on crafts. So this is another great way to just engage with the outdoors, find a nice activity, a new hobby to engage in during the pandemic. It's wonderful. So you have also been educating yourself about healthy eating, GMO foods, and environmental sustainability since you were very, very young. So why is it so important for young people and adults alike to think about where food comes from?
Because so you can get served a salad and pretty much anywhere, and like I personally like making salads at home because I know that, this lettuce was grown in this place and it wasn't sprayed with chemicals and it's good for me. Where a lot of people think, it's a salad, it's healthy, and we'll get a salad at like McDonald's or a pizza place. And some of the pizza places have healthy salads, but a lot of them are like, they don't know what's in it. Like a lot of them are sprayed with chemicals, and you don't realize that. You think, it's a vegetable, like it's healthy for you. But once you realize what is going on your food is gonna affect you too, because you're the one eating the food, it's like crazy to think about. So it's really important for kids and adults to know where their food comes from, so that they know, this isn't gonna harm me, this is gonna actually help me how it's supposed to help me.
I agree, because just because something is healthy doesn't mean that there weren't like invisible chemicals, things that you can't see with the naked eye. Yes, a salad is healthy, fruits are healthy, but you also have to think about where that came from. So that's a great point. And I want to ask you about your Girl Scout cookies. So you have been making change on a national scale since you were 6. So thanks to your 3-year-long campaign, you helped the Girl Scouts make the very, very, very first non-GMO cookie. So tell us about that project and what that was like.
So, like I said, my mom taught me about healthy eating at a really young age. And so I was like, Mom, why don't we like share this with my friends? Like, do they know what they're eating too? And so my mom brought 2 boxes of Girl Scout cookies to our meeting, and we didn't eat them, but she had us all read one ingredient and take turns in a circle. And we realized that one of the girls was like, there's so many, and then one of the girls was like, there's so much sugar in this. And so like we all were like saying things, but I don't think we realized like that's like, why is there so much? And so then my mom started explaining like, this is bad for you, this is like, and just explained everything that we needed to know. And it kind of like made me realize that like these aren't healthy for you, and like they're being sprayed with chemicals too. And I was like, someone's got to do something about it. And I can't you can't always rely on other people to do things for you. So I was like, well, I mean, I'm gonna do something about it. And so my mom helped me write letters to Girl Scouts, and it took a long time, but we finally got to go to New York and go to the Girl Scout headquarters. And I did like a little speech out there. My mom recorded it. And we go in, and they declined us, and they didn't want to meet with us anymore. So then we ended up just handing it to some lady, because someone at Girl Scouts didn't want to meet with us. And it was still a really good experience. Like, I went through the whole process and like was able to do it myself. But it also, like, I was in shock, because Girl Scouts are supposed to elevate each other and like help each other out. And the fact that they just kind of ignored my whole project that I did, and that took me a lot of time and effort, like made me realize like is Girl Scout what like they actually are. And I was a little bit upset, but it didn't stop me from being who I am.
Wonderful. And it does take a lot of bravery to stand up to such a major organization, such a big institution that so many people revere and value, as big as Girl Scouts. So it did take a lot of courage on your part to persevere as well. So what happened afterwards? What was the next step after that experience?
Well, I was in the film The Need to Grow, and they shared my story with that, and I kept like emailing them and stuff, and eventually they got the GMOs out of the cookie, and I was really happy. And it was just so cool, because like people like realized, oh look, these are GMO free cookies, and I got to be the person to be like, yeah, that was because of me.
Definitely, that's a legacy you're gonna have forever. And thank you for bringing up The Need to Grow. That is an award-winning documentary that came out in 2019, which is about how the food industry is devastating the planet, and it also offers revolutionary solutions to our existing system. We will add the links into the description below if you want to check that out. All right, and just on a bit of a personal note, Alicia, how do you find the workload, especially with all the projects, all the volunteering you're doing? How do you balance that with, you know, being a teenage girl, having to go to classes, hang out with your friends and your family? How do you find the way to organize all your projects and goals?
Well, I wouldn't be able to do this all without my mom. She helps me a lot. It's a little bit stressful because it's so much on my plate, but
of course,
I mean, I have a passion for everything I do, so it makes it easy to fit it all into my day, my week, my month. And it's just so fun. Like, I wake up early, I go to bed at a good time, and I still find time to do all that stuff.
That's wonderful. And your passion definitely shows through. You're also very passionate about gardening and particularly growing your own food. So can you offer any tips for first-time gardeners who want to cultivate their own vegetable or fruit garden at home?
I would say start small and get used to it, like get into it, and grow something that you like are gonna enjoy growing or that you want to try. So it makes it more fun, and then just keep going from there. And as long as you have a passion for it and love it, like keep going and show your friends, make it fun.
That is beautiful. And having fun is such a big part, because if you're enjoying something, the chances are you're going to commit to it longer.
Yeah.
That's very important. And last year, among the many initiatives you were doing, you also founded Lake Forest Food Forest with a goal of planting 100 community fruit trees in Lake Forest, California. So last July, thanks to your incredible family, you managed to plant 22 trees within the span of a week, which just blows my mind. So what made you decide to create the Food Forest?
Well, I met Rob Greenfield, and he was talking to me and my mom about the Live Like Ali Foundation, and he was telling us how he plants fruit trees and has other people help him and stuff. And originally, he was gonna, we signed up for 10. We ended up doing 22, and it was an incredible experience because it was family bonding time, and it was really cool because like other people wanted to support my project, and it was just so fun. And although it was a lot of hard work, we had to dig a bunch of holes, and it was the summertime, and then there was a lot of mosquitoes.
That's commitment. Really good commitment.
It was so much hard work. It was so worth it because me and my sisters go on runs every morning, about 3 miles, and we go and we run through our neighborhood, and we get to be like, oh, that's a tree we planted. We get to like point out like what they are, and like we just get super excited, and then we see fruit on the trees, and we just get so excited. We're like, we get it, like the whole community gets access to this now. So it's just awesome.
That is wonderful, especially you get to see the literal fruits of your labor, which must be very satisfying and rewarding for you. Can you give us an update on the initiative?
Well, we haven't been planting any trees lately, but we're gonna try to do 22 each summer in honor of Ali, and we're actually probably gonna start pretty soon because summer's right around the corner. Yeah. So it's something I'm looking forward to because it was super fun.
I can imagine, and it's a great way, like you said, to bond with family and friends, and it will create lasting memories as you've demonstrated with your sister.
Yeah.
Great. So we eat every day, and it's not just about delicious food, it's also about where it comes from. And I really like that example you gave me with the Girl Scout cookie box that your mom provided, and you were researching the ingredients yourself. So what are some other ways that we could make sure we consume food responsibly, not just for the environment, but also for our bodies?
Well, you want to make sure that, so something I do and I've been doing as a kid for the longest time is I check the labels and I check the boxes, and I make sure that all my food's organic or non-GMO. Or I've gone to farmers markets with my grandma, and just like, I don't know, it's just something that I've been doing for a long time, and so I'm just so used to it. But we always make sure our food's organic. We always make sure our food's non-GMO. We'll go strawberry picking sometimes, and we'll get our own strawberries from our local like organic farms. And so you want to know where your food's coming from and how they grow it. Like I've talked to a lot of farmers, like Eric Cutter, and he told us how he grows his stuff and what he uses, and it was like it was a game changer because like we found out so much that we didn't know that we can use for our own garden too.
Definitely. And I can see that you have a very strong sense of community with all the connections you've made, people who are like-minded, who are also very passionate about responsibly sourcing food and environmental sustainability. So it's really great to see that it's not just you as a person who's working singularly, you're also involving your family, your friends, and meeting wonderful new people during this project. And food security is another cause that you're very passionate about. You made a cookbook when you were younger called Recipes to Grow that you developed with your wonderful mom. So tell us about what makes these recipes so special.
Well, they were all made from scratch, and they're all made from healthy ingredients. They're all natural. One of my favorite recipes that I still make to this day, quite often, like almost every day, are the banana and egg pancakes. And
sounds so good.
And it's crazy because like when you think of pancakes, you think of all the ingredients. You think the flour, the sugar, and all the added stuff. But all it is 1 banana and 2 eggs, and they taste almost exactly like pancakes, and they're so good. But it's all natural ingredients, and it's like you don't have to add any added sugars or any adding flavorings and stuff, like the artificial stuff. It's all natural, and it's
Definitely. It sounds very nutritious. Must be high in protein and potassium. And it's great because nature provides you all the tools you need. You don't need like any extra sugar or artificial sweeteners. You have everything you need with the banana and the eggs. Wonderful. And just for anyone who's curious, all the proceeds to Recipes to Grow will go towards making organic gardens in schools. Again, we will link the description. We'll link the book in the description below. And recently, Alicia, you started Secondhand Sister to raise awareness about the environmental and humanitarian consequences of the fast fashion industry and textile mills. So I think this is quite widely known how bad the fast fashion industry is to our environment and to the hands that create it. So why have you committed to only shopping secondhand for a year?
So as much as I love a good deal, I want to make sure that like my clothes are not making someone else do more than they need to. And like I don't like paying a lot for my clothes because it's a lot of money, and clothes are a necessity. But I also don't want to take away from other people who are working hard to make our clothes. So shopping secondhand is something that I'm still learning about, but it's something I also have a passion for because I know by buying a secondhand shirt, it's giving it a new life, and it's helping the environment too, because not all the chemicals that it takes to make one shirt, like it's making less chemicals go out into the environment. It is less polluting, and honestly, like you still, like at thrift stores, you can still get clothes that you see online, but for a better price, and they're not hurting anyone. And like I learned about how fast fashion really affects the people who make the shirts because they're making a lot less than minimum wage and they can barely provide for their families. And I really, like, I feel like a lot of people take advantage of what they have, not realizing that they're taking away from others sometimes.
That was very, very well put. And how have you found the experience of secondhand shopping so far?
So I really secondhand. I like shopping secondhand because you're gonna get the clothes that you want to see, that are online or in the store, that are name brand, and people will buy those. So you'll find them at thrift stores, and you get them for a cheaper price, and you get to help the environment, and you don't have to take away from others to get that shirt that you wanted.
Absolutely. And I really like how you called it giving clothes a second life. And on that note, you have started an upcycling project called Repurpose. Very exciting. Can you tell us what that's about?
Yeah, so it all started, my dad worked for A6 Wrestling, or A6, and he was wrestling. He worked on a lot of wrestling shoes.
That's really cool.
One day I was like, Dad, like let me design a shoe, and it ended up going through, and people were able to buy it and stuff, and it was
wow.
And so I got a pair of shoes, and I started coloring them, and I have a big passion for that. Like I don't watch on YouTube. Most people watch video games and stuff, and I just watch other people customizing stuff, and honestly, it's really inspiring. So I customized my pair of shoes, and my dad was really impressed. And so then I was like, oh, well, I'm doing this Secondhand Sister thing where I'm getting clothes from thrift stores. And I was like, well, why don't I customize stuff from thrift stores too? Because I can just give them a second life and make them more like what people's style and about them, and like make it special. And so that's my biggest thing, is now getting stuff from the thrift stores and customizing them. And it's so fun because it just brings me joy. And it also makes things special for other people and helps the environment.
Absolutely. And it's such a great way for creative expression, and it just is so nice to have a gift with a human touch that you made personally. It's bespoke. It has that Alicia magic to it. So that's great. And my final question for you is, what's next on your agenda? You have big things planned for 2021. Can you give us a preview of what's coming up?
Well, right now I'm working on the Secondhand Sister and Repurpose, and I don't know what's next. It kind of just, all my projects projects come at random, and I have to have a passion for it. And I'll see something, and then it'll light a fire. And so then I'll start a project about it. But as of right now, we have Secondhand Sister and Repurpose, and then we're probably gonna do more community fruit trees this summer.
That is beautiful. Thank you very much for taking your time to speak with me today, Alicia. And it's so great hearing about all the amazing initiatives you're spearheading and how much love and passion you have for what you do. It's truly inspiring. So thank you again for your time. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks.